Hey everyone, welcome back to Unfiltered and Unapologetic, the space where we heal out loud, speak truth without shame, and stop pretending we're fine when we're falling apart inside. I'm your host, Caitlin Gil-Soto, a Dominican woman born and raised in Lawrence, Massachusetts, who grew up traveling between Bani y El Cibao. I was made in two worlds, one full of sazon, sun, and ancestral rhythm, and one that taught me to grind, shrink, and survive. This episode is for the ones who feel tired for no reason, who go to sleep exhausted and wake up the same way, who've done the journaling, the therapy, the prayer, but still feel off. We're talking about something deeper today: vitamin deficiency and how it affects your mood, energy, gut, emotions, faith, self worth, and ability to manifest. Because sometimes, mi gente, it's not just in your head. Sometimes it's not depression, it's depletion. Sometimes the reason you can't feel God or trust your path is because your body doesn't feel safe enough to receive. And if you're Dominican, Caribbean, Afro Latino, or a first gen child of immigrants who moved from warmth to winter, this episode will hit different. We're going to break it all down. Why your glow dimmed when you left the sun, how trauma and digestion are connected, what your gut and hormones have to do with your spirit, and how food is not just food, it's memory, medicine, and manifestation. Let this episode be a reset. Let it be a soft return to rhythm. Let it remind you that your body is not the enemy, it's the altar. Let's get into it. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're not ungrateful. Your body might just be missing something essential, especially if you're Dominican, Afro-Caribbean, African American, or a first gen who moved from a warm, sunlit country to a cold indoor life in the US or abroad. You might think you're in a depressive episode or going through an identity crisis, when in reality, your body could be depleted, quietly, slowly, but deeply. What are you missing? When your body lacks key nutrients, everything starts to feel heavier. Vitamin D. You make this from sunlight. Without it, your brain produces less serotonin, which is your mood hormone, and your immune system weakens. Deficiency can cause low mood, fatigue, joint pain, irritability, and hormonal imbalance. Iron. This is needed to carry oxygen in your blood. Without it, you feel physically weak, dizzy, foggy, and emotionally flat. Commonly low in women, especially after menstruation, pregnancy, or poor diet. B12 and folate, or vitamin B9. These power your brain and nervous system. When you have low levels of these vitamins, you get brain fog, memory issues, low energy, low motivation, numbness, or tingling in the hands and feet. Magnesium. This is the anti-anxiety mineral. It supports your muscles, heart, sleep, and emotional regulation. When you're stressed, your body burns through magnesium faster, and most people don't get enough from food. The body doesn't yell when it's depleted, it whispers, until the whisper becomes a shutdown. Now let's talk about the root of I'm not myself lately. It's not just emotional, it's chemical. When your body is missing vitamins, it cannot regulate the same way. That's why some people feel off no matter how much they sleep. Why brain fog persists even when they're going to therapy. Why anxiety spikes when they're eating fast food every day but don't know why they're crying on the train or anywhere. I have some journal prompts here for you guys. What symptoms have I been ignoring or normalizing? What does tired feel like in my body? What would I need to feel nourished on a daily basis? Now we're going to talk about why it hits us so hard, especially as Dominicans and immigrants. If you grew up in the Caribbean, sunlight wasn't a luxury, it was your reality. You weren't taking vitamin D pills because the sun was in your bones. Every morning, every walk to the colmado, every time you hung clothes outside. Your food was real. You didn't call it organic, it just was. You had guineitos, arroz, habichuelas, or green bananas, rice, and beans. You also had yuca or casabe, aguacate or avocados, bacalao. I forgot what that's called in English. Sardines and okra, even though I don't like okra. You ate slow at the table with people around that mattered. Then you moved, and suddenly you're indoors for most of the day. You're rushing through meals, eating processed foods, barely seeing the sun. You start feeling anxious, exhausted, unmotivated, foggy, and you blame yourself for being lazy, ungrateful, or inconsistent. But here's the truth, it's not just emotional, it's biological. Your body is grieving the land, rhythm, and nutrients it was used to. Now we're going to talk about the immigrant shift. So before we were getting sunlight daily, walking everywhere, home cooked meals, real food from your backyard or el colmado, shared meals, and fresh air. After, you only see fluorescent lights, processed food, fast mornings, caffeine before breakfast, and meals eaten alone or skipped altogether. I have a couple journal prompts here for you guys. So, what foods did you grow up eating that made you feel full and comforted? What meals have you stopped eating since moving or becoming busier? Do you notice a difference in your mood or energy after eating certain foods? What would it look like to cook like your abuela, not just for taste, but for healing? All right, now we're going to talk about portion control, not as punishment, but as a form of presence. Let's talk for a moment about how much you're eating, not from a place of restriction, but from awareness. When you're disconnected or living on autopilot, you might overeat or undereat without even realizing it. And that impacts your energy, your mood, and your digestion. One way to come back into balance is by using your own plate as a guide. No need to count calories, no need for apps, just your hands. Your protein, it's about the size of your palm, like grilled chicken, eggs, or fish. Vegetables, try to fill half the plate. Things like lettuce, cabbage, tomatoes, bell peppers. Get creative. Check on TikTok some vegetable salads that don't taste like vegetables. Carbs, a small scoop, about a cupped handful, like rice, plantains, or yuca. Healthy fats, just a little, like a small slice of avocado or a drizzle of olive oil. Water or natural juice. You can start with a glass before you eat. It helps with digestion. This isn't about shrinking yourself. It's about helping your body feel safe, nourished, and steady. Because when you eat with rhythm and care, your body starts to self-regulate emotionally and physically. I have some journal prompts here for you guys. All right. Am I eating until I feel satisfied or until I feel overly full or disconnected? How does satisfaction actually feel in my body when I'm fully present? What small shift can I make this week to feel more balanced while I eat? All right, now we're going to talk about faith, energy, and the spiritual cost of being depleted. Let's talk about something that doesn't show up on your blood test. You can believe in God and still feel disconnected. You can be doing the inner work, journaling, visualizing, speaking affirmations, and still feel stuck, foggy, or off. Sometimes it's not your mindset. It's not your routine. Sometimes your vessel is just too empty to hold what it's meant for you. Because spiritual clarity requires physical capacity. Your soul speaks through your body. If your gut is inflamed, if your hormones are off, if your brain is running on fumes, you will struggle to feel peace, intuition, and clarity, no matter how aligned your intentions are. You'll start questioning your purpose, your prayers, your timing, not because they aren't working, but because your body is not able to fully receive. Your word is your wand, Florence Scovel Shinn reminds us, but your belief is what makes it work. And belief takes energy. It takes clarity. It takes rest. You are not failing. You are not blocked. You are being called back to your foundation, to the body that holds the promise. And let's break this down simply. Your brain needs B vitamins, magnesium, and healthy fats to regulate emotion and maintain focus. Your gut needs iron and zinc to process food, absorb nutrients, and support mental health. Your nervous system needs vitamin D and rest to stay calm and receptive. Your manifestation practice needs a regulated body, not just a vision board. When you're constantly tired, emotionally on edge, overwhelmed by small tasks, struggling to feel joy or clarity, it's not lack of discipline, it's depletion. This is why manifestation is not just a mindset. It's also nourishment. It's why God's promises are easier to believe when the body feels safe. It's why alignment is a full body experience. And here are some Florence Scovel Shinn reminders. There is no competition on the spiritual plane. What is yours will not pass you. I am divinely guided and designed to thrive, not to survive. Infinite Spirit revealed to me the path of peace and vitality. And then I have some journal prompts here for you guys. Where in your life have you normalized being tired or foggy? What are you trying to manifest, but struggling to feel worthy of receiving? What simple change could you make this week to feel more aligned in body and spirit? All right, now we're going to talk about something that we don't always connect to health. Your glow, your magnetism, your voice, your ability to walk into a room and feel like you deserve to be there. That's not just mindset. That's minerals. That's blood flow. That's nourishment showing up in your posture, in your skin, and how you speak over yourself. Your self-worth starts in the body. You can repeat affirmations all day. You can write your manifestations every morning. But if your brain is missing nutrients, your nervous system is not going to believe you. Your body doesn't lie. And if your body is tired, inflamed, or deprived, it will always default to survival mode. And in survival mode, you shrink, you people please, you doubt. You don't feel like enough because your body doesn't have enough. What deficiency looks like in real life. You're too tired to do your hair, to go to the gym, or get dressed. So you start feeling ugly or lazy. You zone out in conversations because you're foggy, so you think you're awkward or not smart enough. You feel overwhelmed by tasks and then feel guilty for not being productive. These aren't personality traits, they're symptoms. You're not lazy, you are likely depleted. Right now we're going to talk about how deficiency blocks abundance. Florence Scovel Shinn teaches that you attract not what you want, but what you feel aligned with. When you are undernourished physically and emotionally, your vibration lowers. You start manifesting from fear instead of belief. You say you want more, but your body is in protection mode. You can't magnetize overflow while living your survival. You have to rebuild your baseline first. That's why healing the body is part of manifesting a better life, because your body carries a belief. Your nervous system determines how much you can hold. Here are some Florence Scovel Shinn reminders. Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight. I act as if I already have it because my faith is bigger than what I see. Every cell in my body is now aligned with the vibration of ease, clarity, and abundance. And I have some journal prompts here. Where are you saying I'm fine, but your body is telling you a different story? How do you show up differently when you're well rested and well fed? What would it look like to believe you are worthy of care even before you do anything? Now we're going to talk about gentle healing, testing, nourishing, and rebuilding without shame. So let's be real. Most of us didn't grow up talking about blood work or lab tests. We only went to the doctor when something was really wrong, and even then, they often just gave us pills and not answers. But healing doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be expensive or extreme. And it definitely doesn't have to be all or nothing. This is not about perfection. This is about paying attention. All right, so if you're tired all the time, struggling with brain fog, mood swings, or hormonal issues, it's worth getting some blood work done. So you would need to check your vitamin D, vitamin B12, folate, also known as vitamin B9, iron panels, magnesium, thyroid panels, which includes TSH, free T3, and free T4, CBC, which is a complete blood count, and CMP, which is comprehensive metabolic panel. You don't have to know how to interpret it. You just need to advocate for yourself. Ask, request copies, and bring someone with you if needed. Here's what matters most though. You can begin healing before you get the labs. Start with what you know your body is craving: warmth, nourishment, rhythm. Not restriction, not shame, just rhythm. Try adding a warm meal with protein at least once a day, 2 to 3 cups of water first thing in the morning, a homemade jugo or juice or batida or milkshake of lechosa, which is papaya, zanahoria, which is carrots, avena, which is oatmeal, or guineo, which is bananas, etc. You can do other fruits as well. A walk in the sun, even 10 minutes counts. Magnesium rich foods, guineos verdes or green bananas, habichuelas, which is beans, cacao, aguacate, which is avocado, and iron rich foods, red meat, guandules or pigeon peas, yuca, and lentejas, which is other different types of beans and lentils. A bedtime wind down, which is no screams and just a moment with yourself, even in silence. For many Dominicans, especially those who moved to the US, our relationship with food has gotten complicated. Back home, we grew up eating real food: arroz, habichuela, aguacate, mango, plátano, sardinas, and yuca, which is rice, beans, avocados, mangoes, plantains, sardines, and cassave. But when we moved here, everything changed. The food is heavily processed, the meat is pumped with hormones, even the fruit is different, larger but emptier, and it became harder to trust what was on our plate. We started eating for convenience, not connection. We skipped meals or binged that night. We labeled our own foods as bad because they weren't keto or low carb, and that created guilt, disconnection, confusion. So this isn't about eating better. It's about healing the relationship we have with food in this new country. It's about reclaiming joy and intuition in how we nourish ourselves. You don't have to do it all. You just have to start. We live in a culture that pressures us to heal overnight, to become a new version of ourselves instantly. But your body doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to consistency and kindness. You don't have to overhaul your life. You can choose one thing this week: one new food, one walk, one deeper breath. That is healing. I have some Florence Scovel wisdom here. I look with wonder at that which is before me. I walk in faith, knowing that divine order is unfolding through me and for me. I bless my body and all that it has carried me through. And I have some journal prompts here. What's one gentle shift I can make this week to support my body's healing? What's something I know I've been avoiding when it comes to my health? And how can I face it with softness? How can I remind myself that healing is not linear, but it is real? All right, now let's talk about healing as remembrance, honoring the body, the land, and the lineage. So let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about vitamins. This isn't just about fatigue, lab tests, or spinach. This is about your body being the only thing that has carried you through every single season and still hasn't given up on you. This is about the way our ancestors moved through life, with rhythm, with ritual, with rest. Back then, food was a ceremony. The sun was medicine. The land was church. And even if they didn't have the language for deficiencies or gut health, they knew how to live in harmony with their environment and with their body. Healing today is not a rebellion, it's remembrance. It's your way of saying, I didn't forget. I may have moved far, but I'm coming back to myself now. And this is for our generation and the next. Our abuelas didn't get the luxury of saying they were tired. They didn't always have access to wellness, therapy, or rest. But we do. We are the ones with the information, the language, the resources, and calling to break cycles of disconnection. That doesn't mean we do it perfectly. It just means we do it intentionally. Because when we heal our body, we're also healing our self-worth, our spiritual clarity, our ability to show up in the world without fear. We're shifting from survival into presence, from rushing into returning, from disconnection into rhythm. You deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve to wake up with energy, to eat without guilt, to trust yourself again, to receive what you've prayed for, and to hold it with grace. That starts with treating your body like an altar, not a machine, not a burden, not an afterthought. You are not here to run on empty. You are not here to grind yourself to the ground. You are here to glow, to nourish, and to thrive. And that starts with small choices. The soft mornings, the simple meals, the deep exhale that says, I'm coming back home to myself. I have some more journal prompts here for you guys. What part of your body have you been ignoring or resenting, and how can you reconnect with it? How did your caregivers talk about food, energy, and health growing up? What would it look like to build a healing routine based on kindness, not control? What does your body need to feel safe, strong, and supported right now? And now we're going to have a final prayer for energy, clarity, and coming back to the body. So put your hands on your chest and take a deep breath. And exhale. God, thank you for the body you gave me, even when I don't always understand it, even when I've ignored it or mistreated it. It keeps breathing for me. Thank you for the energy I have today, even if it's not where I want it to be. Thank you for the foods that raised me and for the land that once held me in rhythm. I release the shame I've carried about being tired. I release the guilt I felt around my health. I release the pressure to perform, to push, to prove. Remind me that healing doesn't have to be loud to be real. That nourishment is spiritual. That my worth isn't measured by how much I get done, but by the truth that you made me on purpose, and that's enough. Show me how to listen to my body, how to support it with kindness, like I would a loved one. Teach me to rest without guilt, to eat without fear, to believe I don't have to earn care. I just have to receive it. Let every meal be a ritual. Let every walk in the sun be a return. Let every glass of water be a reset. This is my reset. This is my new rhythm. I honor the body I live in, and I honor you, God, by taking care of it. In the name of love, life, and the spirit you placed in me. Amen. Thank you for listening, mi gente. If this episode gave you language for something you've been feeling, if it helped you soften toward your body or made you cry because you finally felt seen, know that this space was created for exactly that. And if it reminded you that healing includes food, rest, blood work, and belief, then your next step isn't to do it all. It's to start gently with one thing: one glass of water, one batida or milkshake, one walk outside. You're not here to run on empty. You're not here to grind yourself to the bone. You're here to glow softly, steadily, and on purpose. If this moved you, please leave a 5-star review and share this with someone who needs it. You can also grab one of my blank journals on Amazon. They're perfect for tracking your symptoms, writing your prayers, or documenting your healing journey. Follow me on Instagram at Caitlin La Jefa with 2 A's and the podcast page at Unfill and Unapologetic Pod to stay connected, get sneak peeks, and catch future episodes. If you want this show to keep going, to keep creating raw, healing, and culturally rooted episodes, please consider making a donation. The link is in the show notes. And if you're here, welcome. You're not behind, you're right on time. Until then, I'll see you next week. Pa'lante pero suave.